All right, you maggots, listen up. This is a what if video. And what you have to understand is I'll sit and I'll think and I'll say, what if this, what if that? Now, this is, I forget what type of toroid coil this is. I bought a few of these. This one here works at the AM broadcast band. This was used in a crystal radio set. You can use toroids. I've told you that on a past video. But it's a lot of work to wind one of these. Even with that tool, I showed you that too. Awesome. So I wanted to make a front end to make an amplifier for just one frequency and place that antenna somewhere in the house where my computer doesn't interfere with it. So that's the idea. Now I could just run a piece of wire shielded and put it there, but I thought, let me make it amplified. So this works in the circuit, but it's kind of big. It takes a couple hours for me to wind this coil. I do a little at a time because all three coils, there'd be three of these in my tuned front end, would need to have the exact same amount of turns of wire. So I wasn't looking forward to it. But at some point, I've been working with different chokes. This is a ferrite choke. This is 100. Now let me think about it. 100 microhenry. All right. So this is a 100 microhenry choke. This is about 150 microhenries. So you start thinking, well, can I use one of these? Now, with this one, you just put it across the capacitor, and then you put like 6 turns of wire around this, separate. Here it is here. Here's the test wire. You can see it's been wrapped around there. So you wrap around this around the ferrite core as a takeoff point, and you add an antenna to the. You have it on the capacitor here. It's tuned, and when you hit the frequency of the station, the antenna comes in. It goes to that coil. It gets tuned across the capacitor, and out of this wire that would have 6 turns, out comes the signal when you hit the frequency of the station. Now, so you just say, well, we'll just put 6 turns across this guy or around this guy. Very simple. It'll save me a lot of work. I buy a few of these. I wrap some wire around. Nice, actually neater than that. And then I put it in the same circuit. It didn't do nothing. There's no induced signal out of this coil into that wire. So I'm thinking, all right, it's just a matter of the magnetic field. So I took another one of the coils, and I went end to end, like I did with the. If you saw, you can use these coils larger, much larger, to make an IF can, and you can put them apart from each other. The signal will not go out of these at the AM broadcast frequency into this one to do any good. There's a tiny little amount of signal. So I learned something. Right? It's this ferrite core is a complete circle. It's not a dead short, but it's a core. It's made for transformation. You can make it a choke, but ferrite cores or toroid coils are great transformers. So in other words, you have a primary winding that's, say, it's 150 microhenries, and you got it across the capacitor, and it's tuned up for 1600 sweet 16 station, and then you put 6 turns of wire around this, and it transfers. The signal comes out of the wire, nice and strong. But you can't go this route. This won't do it. And then the Q is higher on this one. So that's what I wanted to get to. When you check the Q of this choke, it's 12. The Q of this is 6. But this is made to be a transformer. That's the difference. Right? So there are smaller toroid coils I could use. I could use a T50-1, but at the frequency I needed at, it would need 100 turns of wire. All 3 toroid coils have to have the same amount of turns. Otherwise, it won't track. Well, anyway, I just wanted to show you that, you might get this idea where, well, all you need is a piece of ferrite choke and put some windings on the outside. But yeah, it will work, but it won't work as good as this one. I mean, it's not even close. But I just wanted to show you, you get these ideas in your head. And in my case, I get the idea and I immediately do a setup. And I remember seeing a guy let me take the wire off so I won't confuse you. I saw a guy selling kits for crystal radio sets, and he's using these. And I bought some. That's where this came from. And I tried doing what he did, and it won't get any of the weak stations around here. See, the stations are weak. Any kind of crystal radio set that you build, and you're in a populated area, you will get stations. You will get stations using a transformer for the audio and running a pair of earbuds from MP3 player. You will get stations. But for DX, you got to have the old-fashioned Brandy's trim. There's several other brands you're going to have. They're high impedance. They're 2,000 or 4,000 ohm impedance. There's lots of coil in them. There's a huge diaphragm. And they're very sensitive headphones. And you can't get around that. You can't work around that. Now, you could take a set of trims or Brandy's and use a transformer on them, and they become even more sensitive. But there's no real shortcut unless you're into making money. So you produce a kit, a little circuit board, and it's got a bunch of these coils on here. And the Q, we can argue it. We could say the Q is really good on this used as a choke. But using this in a tuned circuit, not so much. See, that's what you got to understand. This is used to choke out a frequency from getting into a circuit. It's not used most of the time to develop signals. That's what you got to. That's one of those things, in your mind you're going to go, oh wait, that thing's a choke. That's used to choke out frequencies we want. We don't use that to make a crystal radio. But see, other people go look at it, well, it'll get 10 stations if the guy's really close to the stations. And he gets the kit and he sells it and people are happy with it. But you get the guy that's way out in the woods and he can't get nothing on it. And he thinks he's got a bad one. Or he puts it away in a drawer and never gets to it again. I get these thoughts. And I remember buying these. I saw the guy go, well, that's pretty good, man. You don't have to wire. Why would you wind a coil this complicated when you can just use one of these? Well, this works really well, and this does not. I think that's it. All right, that's it.